Welcome to TPM Vid's Disney Beat, where we talk about all things Disney. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button and click the bell icon to be notified when we upload a new video. We also have Instagram and Twitter. You can find us at TPM Videos. We all love a classic Disney ride, but sometimes the magic is interrupted when the rides malfunction and break down. Through submissions from all of you, these never-before-seen breakdowns give you some rare perspectives into many of your favorite Disney rides. If you have a breakdown or malfunction you'd like to share, send it to the email address on the screen. Now, without further ado, make sure to keep your hands, arms, feet, and legs inside as we count down the top 10 Disney ride breakdowns, malfunctions, and in-show exits. Number 10. We're gonna start off at Epcot with a test track breakdown. In January of 2021, Juan and his family were so close to making it outdoors when the ride stopped.
Ladies and gentlemen, your vehicle testing has been suspended momentarily. Please remain seated as vehicle movement may resume at any time. Thank you.
Here we have all the show elements off. It gives us a unique glimpse into how simple and bare the scenery really is, and how much the ride really depends on the neon and black light. The blue grid creates so much of the environment on the ride. Now, it wasn't long until cast members began the in-show exit procedure, since at this point the park was already closed.
Alright, you guys can unbuckle your seatbelts now, and you're gonna exit out to the far side, okay?
At this point, all cell phones to go in pockets, in bags, or they will stay for the rest of the behind the scenes tour. Behind the scenes tour?
Here they come.
Ladies and gentlemen, unfortunately, we cannot restart Test Track at this time. A Test Track cast member will be with you shortly to assist you as you exit the attraction. Please remain seated and follow all cast member directions.
Then from here, the rest of the in-show exit took the guests backstage, where it was a quick and easy trip back out to the park. Number 9. This next breakdown takes us into Fantasyland at Magic Kingdom. It was sent in by Haley at HeyHey14 on TikTok, where back in December of 2020, she broke down on the many adventures of Winnie the Pooh.
Attention, Winnie the Pooh. Please remain seated. This ride has stopped temporarily and will resume motion at any time. Please remain seated for your own safety. Thank you.
You know what this is? It's an in-show exit.
You know it. But first, can we talk about how loud Tigger is? You hear that? It sounds like his tail is gonna saw right through that bass. It's crazy how the ride audio normally drains out that sound. See, I can't hear a thing. Slightly unsettling with it being completely silent while Tigger's arms are just gently shaking. This is some Disney horror movie stuff.
Tigger must have got tired.
Okay, moving along.
Attention many residents of Winnie the Pooh, captains will be on their way shortly to assist you from your ride vehicles.
And now it's time for the in-show exit.
We're gonna be with you in a moment, alright?
That's alright, thank you.
Cast members are always so calm during these procedures, making sure all the guests get out safely.
Push down the lap bar for me.
With new COVID-19 protocols, these in-show exits can take a bit more time than usual, but this doesn't change the walking tour back to the entrance, where Haley also got an up-close look at—
There's an Easter egg right over there.
Yep, that's Winnie the Pooh with Mr. Mole from Mr. Toad's Wild Ride, which previously occupied this space, and—
The other one is up here.
That's a pretty clear shot of Mr. Toad handing the deed over to Owl. I love this little Easter egg.
This is so cool.
Now, since reopening during the summer of 2020, FastPass has been temporarily discontinued, but it does look like they're still using them for guest recovery.
Sorry about that,
You can use this FastPass anywhere except the 7-door Fine Train or Peter Pan.
Thank you.
Number 8. Mr. Toad's Wild Ride is a classic Disneyland dark ride that takes a pretty dark turn. In February of 2020, Larry at Lart_03 on Instagram experienced a breakdown on what his family refers to as the scariest ride ever.
I broke down.
Stage lights on.
Stage lights on.
We're so cool now.
I always love seeing how simple these Disneyland dark ride sets really are. It's just a bunch of plywood and black paint, but it's super effective.
We're just in hell, you know how it is. We be vibing though. I mean, I was gonna end up here sooner or later, so yeah, look it. It's hell.
Now, a lot of these Disneyland dark rides are really tight on space. It can sometimes make the in-show exit feel a little claustrophobic.
Spooky, man.
Now, does this scene ever remind anyone else of the spooky Mormon Hell Dream scene in Book of Mormon? Anyone? No? Just me? Okay.
Look at him. Look at that dude. Man, that looks creepy, bro. That looks creepy.
Since they were already so close to the exit, it was just a quick walk back out to the park. Number 7. We've seen Malfunctions before with Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, but this next one, sent in by Magical Hijinks on YouTube, is a very strange and rare malfunction. So the ride started off normally, but as soon as it approached the tunnel, nothing was working. First off, there was no Goofy, and then the entire ride consisted of no ride animation and sound. Just the sound of the vehicles moving through the rooms with the extended hold music in each scene. It honestly seems like a pretty relaxing experience, and even though the ride wasn't functioning properly, it was still visually stunning. Imagineers truly did a wonderful job with this ride. Now, this happened just a couple days after Disney World reopened in July of 2020. Apparently, this was the first set of trains sent through the ride after cast members finished scheduled cleaning. I'm assuming it was a sensor issue that didn't trigger any of the animation and sound, since Magical Hijinks got to ride again right away and everything was working as it should. This was definitely a rare ride malfunction that gives you a different perspective on this Disney dark ride. Number 6. This next breakdown takes us into Animal Kingdom on Dinosaur and was sent in by Jimmy_Faring on Instagram. Now, this happened back in September of 2020, where a technical difficulty caused the ride to suddenly stop. Then within 5 seconds, the work lights came on.
Attention time travelers. We are experiencing minor technical difficulties with our Time Rover navigational system.
It wasn't long before a maintenance cast member showed up to examine the issue.
I'll get you moving just a second.
It's really interesting to actually see a maintenance cast member troubleshooting a problem with a ride.
Alright guys, before I do get you moving, can I have you guys take the seatbelts off? Put them on just a second. Go ahead and take them off.
And it sounds like whatever was malfunctioning is easily fixable. A good old vehicle reset should do the trick. But something still wasn't right.
Is it our car?
Yeah. Oh shoot.
What happened?
Sensor.
Oh, okay.
I'm assuming it's a seatbelt sensor issue.
Alright, you guys should be moving. Thank you.
Then the cast members disappeared into the distance and it all ended happily ever after. Well, not quite, because the issue wasn't fully fixed and the ride ended up breaking down once again. This time, Dino Institute cast members came to proceed with an in-show exit.
Hi. 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 Yeah. Lovely. Hi. Hi. Hi.
You guys have all your personal belongings. You're going to exit one row at a time, okay?
I love it.
Thank you. Floor is as sticky as I remember it.
Now, seeing Dinosaur with the lights on is always so interesting. You realize how bare the scenery is. There really isn't much to it aside from a lot of plastic plants. But it is really cool getting to see these animatronics up close. And you kind of get a little glimpse into some of the hardware and mechanics that make them work. After about a 5-minute walk, they were escorted back to the loading area where they exited the ride, and everyone was safe and sound. Number 5. At the end of February 2020, Disneyland debuted their brand new parade, Magic Happens. It only performed for 2 weeks before Disneyland shut down due to the pandemic, but it was around long enough to experience a breakdown. Less than a week after the debut, Attractions National on YouTube caught the Frozen float a little, well, frozen. It wasn't long until a cast member came to check on the situation. Then, many more showed up. Now, if you're not familiar with how Disneyland deals with float breakdowns, well, you're about to find out. I love how energetic Disneyland crowds are. They always get right into it. These cast members are moving fast. Look at them go. Now, the float had been stuck for about 12 minutes until it was fully hooked up and moving again. Then, the crowd went wild. But let's not get too excited because it wasn't all good news. Why is it stopped again, you might ask? Well, what's worse than one float breaking down? Well, two. Wow, it's like the Autopia up here on Main Street. And that second tow is coming to rescue the finale float. It was also stuck a little further up the parade route. I guess the magic just wasn't happening for Magic Happens. Number 4. Since March 9th, 2020, the People Mover at Magic Kingdom has been closed, and it all started with a breakdown that was actually caught on camera by Lucas TV Adventures on YouTube. It started off as a typical trip on the People Mover that had a brief stop, which we know has become a more common occurrence as of late.
Uh-oh, we're stopping.
Remain seated. This ride has stopped temporarily.
We're going backwards.
The ride restarted about 30 seconds later, but as they approached Carousel of Progress, the ride abruptly stopped again.
We stopped again. What do you think about that, Mr. Red Cone? So we are stuck here. So it looks like we're gonna have to walk the whole thing to get out of here.
It's kind of ironic that as they were stuck, a monorail was also being towed.
Oh, look at that.
Then it was clear an in-show exit would be taking place.
There they are. They're making their way over to us.
After cast members released the ride vehicle doors, it was a complete walking tour of the rest of the track. I mean, this was a pretty cool way to experience the People Mover, and they even got a peek into Buzz Lightyear's Space Ranger spin. After about a 5-minute walk, they were led down a set of stairs that brought them back into the park. They were given a fast pass for all their trouble, but hopefully 2021 is the year we see the People Mover return. Number 3. The next breakdown comes from Gio and JC on YouTube and takes us on to the Seven Dwarfs Mine Train before COVID-19. Now, it seemed like a perfectly normal ride until they made it into the mine shaft. Clearly, the sound was malfunctioning and all you could hear was the sneezy track. Pretty loud. It was a rough start, but things sounded like they were back on track when all of a sudden...
Well, we're stuck. We're stuck.
What? Now don't you worry. Just stay seated and we'll get things fixed up right away.
And I think we're getting evacuated.
You know it. It wasn't long before cast members came into the mine. First, they needed to lock the trains in place on the lift hill to ensure they don't move during the in-show exit. Then it was time for the grand walking tour through the mine. It's a pretty straightforward in-show exit since there's a clear walking path on the side of the coaster track. But it's really cool to get this point of view. Oh, Dopey looks a little sleepy. They were let out at the exit by the entrance of the mine, and everyone was safe and sound. Number 2. Making our way back to Disney's Hollywood Studios, B-Flamed on Twitter sent in his breakdown experience on Rockin' Roller Coaster. Now, the coaster stopped as it normally does on the brake run just before the unload station, but then it broke down and the work lights came on instantly.
Is there anybody that is not able to get out on their own and walk and go down a few steps? We're all good?
Yeah, we're good.
Okay, so we're gonna do one car at a time. You're all gonna head out to your right, okay?
The in-show exit on Rockin' Roller Coaster requires guests to walk through the show building, giving you a rare look at what the coaster track really looks like.
Rockin' Roller Coaster, like never seen that. Oh, they're like stairs and stuff.
You realize there really isn't much to this ride aside from those street signs. The entire ride experience is created through lighting and music, so this is really cool to see.
This is absolutely amazing, all of this, like, behind the scenes. The track right here.
I don't know if anyone else has this experience, but I actually lost a hat right here on the launch. I know it was a really bad decision on my part. I definitely learned my lesson. So my advice to you is to not wear a hat on Rock and Roller Coaster. You can thank me later. The entire in-show exit took almost 4 minutes, and they were led back into the queue area to exit the ride.
Oh my god, right there. They're lucky.
Not really, because we were the luckiest probably.
I'd say you're very lucky. This is one thing that a lot of Disney fans would love to experience. I know I would. Number 1. How would you feel about ending the video with some lights-on Tower of Terror footage? Well, this last one was sent in by Kalen.33 on Instagram, where they broke down as soon as they got into the 5th dimension.
You are about to discover what lies beyond the 5th dimension.
They were stuck here for a few minutes wondering what was gonna happen.
I've never gotten stuck on this ride.
You got stuck like right before the picture.
I want to get you that. How would you get out?
Nobody. That's a door. There's a door right there.
It seemed natural that an in-show exit would take place.
There's no way it's gonna restart. They're gonna just evacuate us or something.
But then unexpectedly...
That's not creepy at all. Uh-oh.
What could possibly happen?
Oh god. Is that thing gonna move?
Attention kids, you will be having the full drop sequence.
Well, as they say, what goes up must come down.
Full drop sequence. What does that mean?
So they actually ended up sending Kaylin through the rest of the ride with the lights on to get them back to the ground floor.
Wait, are we gonna like go down with the lights on?
Now, how cool of an experience is this? I'd gladly wait hours to visit Tower of Terror with all the lights on, wouldn't you? So have you ever broke down on a Disney ride? What was that experience like? I'd love to know. Leave a comment down below to start a conversation, and don't forget to hit that like button if you enjoyed the video.